Hey guys, welcome to Study Hall with Steven Alves. A little bit about me. I am a previous special assistant to the head coach at a Division I school, UC Riverside in Southern California. I also helped with some consulting for the former director of player personnel for the New York Knicks, Mark Workentine, who also was the 2009 NBA Executive of the Year. And I was most recently deemed one of the best and hardest working young talent evaluators by none other than ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski himself, who I have to give big thanks to for his support. So we're going to dive right into this. And in this first episode, we're going to talk about Chris Paul and how vital he is to the success of the Houston Rockets. I'm going to go through multiple plays where you can see how Chris Paul thinks and what his thought process is before he reacts and before he makes a play. All right, so first up, we're going to have this brush screen here by James Harden, right? So what am I looking at if I'm Chris? I'm obviously looking at my two guys, right? But Draymond's going to dictate how this play goes. If Draymond comes up and helps out on me, then I have Clint down low for the easy dunk with no help D. But if Draymond goes and stays attached to Clint and rolls down with him, then I have either a layup for myself or I have James Harden on my left with the one-on-one ISO against Andre Iguodala. Both really nice options for the Houston Rockets, and let's see how this play unfolds. All right, so Chris is going to get the ball, take it, step back over Clay. That's automatic for him. All right, so here we have the Houston Rockets trying defense and offense, so pause it. So what's going to go on here? Chris is going to tell Clint Capella, come to the screen right here for me at the three-point line. Why? Because he knows it's a 2-on-3 advantage the Houston Rockets have on the break. All right, so here's the screen that Chris asked for, right? So if I'm Chris, what I'm looking at now is I'm looking at the two defenders back and I'm looking at Eric Gordon. When I'm looking at the defenders, I'm looking at Clay first. And I'm going to see that Clay is going to make contact with the ball on the break. That's his job. Clay's not going anywhere, right? And so Kevin Durant, his job is to stay back and protect the basket. So with me calling the screen for Clint, I know that Kevin Durant's going to be worried that Clint's going to roll towards the basket since Clint can't shoot the three. And I'm going to know that Eric Gordon's going to get a late contest for his shot. So I'm going to hit Eric Gordon on my left. Eric gets the ball. He's going to be shooting 45.1% from three. Easy bucket. All right, so here we have the Houston Rockets in transition again, right? So Chris is going to call for a screen from Dene. Pause it. So what do we notice? We notice that Sean Livingston now, because of the screen, is playing behind Chris Paul. That means Clay's going to come up and help, so that way Chris doesn't have an easy lane towards the basket. But Clay originally was guarding Eric Gordon. So Chris recognizes that, and Iman Shumpert does as well. So Iman Shumpert comes, sets a screen on Kevin Durant because he knows Kevin Durant will have to be the one that contests Eric Gordon's three because Klay Thompson is now occupied. So play it. And once again, he's shooting over 45%, so that's basically the layup for him. So on this next play, we're going to see Austin come and slip the screen up on top, right? So Draymond sees that now Klay Thompson is playing behind Chris Paul. So what does he do? He leaves Clint Capella to come and help out so that Chris doesn't have an easy layup. So it leaves Kevin Durant with the responsibility of picking up on either Clint Capella or Eric Gordon. In this play in particular, we're going to see that Kevin Durant's going to choose to stay attached to Clint Capella, leaving Eric Gordon wide open for three. And can't stress enough, he's been knocking those shots down way too easy, shooting over 45%, basically a layup for him again. All right, so in this one, we have Chris coming down on the break. So he's going to call for a screen from Clint right here. So what happens with that screen? If I'm Chris, the first things I'm going to notice are I have Austin Rivers in one corner, and I have Eric Gordon in the other corner. Steph and Clay both cannot leave those guys open. Austin in the playoffs is shooting over 52% from three, and Eric Gordon is shooting over 45% from three. It's automatic. So I know there can't be any help from my roller. So what's going to happen is Clint's going to roll towards the basket, and I'm going to have to throw the ball underneath both Draymond and Kevin Durant because of their size. Bounce pass, easy dunk. All right, so in this play, we're going to see Chris come down and ask for a screen from Eric Gordon. After Eric Gordon sets the screen, it's Kevin Durant's job to go and switch on to Chris Paul. So what does Chris Paul notice? He notices that Kevin Durant's late on the switch, Chris Paul himself is a Hall of Famer and will knock down that shot. So what does he do? He rises up, takes the shot, nails it over Kevin Durant before he can contest. Easy money. Alright, so this screen and roll is a little bit different than the one we saw earlier, right? The reason why is because of the people in the corner. So in this, we have Iman Shumpert and Eric Gordon in the corner. Iman Shumpert's a little different than Austin Rivers so far in these playoffs. Why? Because Austin Rivers is shooting over 50% from three. Iman Shumpert is shooting close to 29% from three. So he knows that Steph Curry eventually will go and help over to try to prevent the roll because Draymond Green can't help over because he's guarding Eric Gordon in the other corner. So Chris Paul recognizes that, hey, Clint Capella has a size and weight advantage over Steph Curry. Clint being 6'10", 245, Steph being 6'3", 215. So what Chris does, he bounce passes the ball underneath Kevon Looney and Alfonso McKinney, gets to Clint for the easy roll and the easy finish. Alright, so here's our last play. We're going to see a screen and roll up on top with James and Capella. So James is going to realize, hey, I'm being double teamed off the screen and roll by Kevon Looney and by Andre Iguodala. So what am I going to do? I'm going to throw the ball down low to the middle because now Clint Capella should have a mismatch with the help. The help ends up being Klay Thompson, which leaves Chris Paul wide open. So he's going to hit Clint. Clint's going to throw it back out, hit Chris Paul. Chris is going to realize it's one dribble to get him off his feet because he's contesting late. Go. He's going to realize that he's being guarded by Kevon Looney, who's too worried about Clint Capella going and dunking on him. So he's going to be backed off, have the space to shoot the jumper, rise up, and nail it. Alright guys, well that's going to do it for the first episode of Study Hall. Thank you for tuning in. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and comment on all these videos. Be sure to go follow on social media at NBA Study Hall. And look forward to producing more content, putting out more videos, and these also will be posted on Instagram TV, so make sure you go follow our Instagram page as well. Thanks again.